Howdy out there, folks. Today I'm going to take a quick look at this amazing documentary from, I believe, 2014 called Jodorowsky's Dune. Now, of course, Jodorowsky is one of those just inimitable forces in the art world. He has made some of the strangest cinema that I think has ever been put to film. His Holy Mountain was arguably one of the first midnight movies to be released, and it's a film that I remember seeing once at a bar after midnight, playing up on some of the monitors with the sound off while the band was playing, and thinking to myself, that has got to be one of the strangest films I've ever seen. And of course, I've since revisited the movie with the sound up, and surely it did live up to that expectation or that little initial assessment of mine. Now, this film documents his effort to get Dune made in the mid 70s. This was prior to David Lynch's directorial effort with the film. And it's infinitely fascinating. It goes through all of the players that were involved with the pre production and how the movie, while the funding was pulled and it never happened, there's all this artwork that was created in the lead up to the production of the movie, and the assemblage of talent was nothing short of spectacular. You had H.R. Geiger involved with the production. You had, Pink Floyd was to do the score. Orson Welles was involved. He was going to play the Baron Harkonnen. You had, goodness, I'm trying to think who else was involved. Dali, of all people, was going to be in the film. It's truly just an amazing journey toward a movie that sadly never got made, but that pollinated many other films that we've seen since. And I think that's where the documentary really shines. It's not just about a failed production, it's about how a failure can still lead to, you know, interesting, unexpected fruits later down the line. And, we've seen so many of our so called classic science fiction films taking from the production of this movie. So I highly recommend it for anyone who is into science fiction, fantasy, enjoys seeing a truly passionate soul talk about his art in a way that is just completely infectious. And he's such an interesting character, Jodorowsky. Highly recommend this movie. Been on a bit of a kick of late watching movies about failed productions, documentaries that is, and Island of Lost Soul, the Island of Dr. Moreau documentary about Richard Stanley's efforts to bring that movie to light, and of course his failure as well. And I find it to be an interesting genre, but especially if the subject is interesting. And I would argue that Jodorowsky and Richard Stanley, and even for that matter, Werner Herzog, in his efforts to bring Fitzcarraldo to light, which actually were successful, albeit with quite a dubious hit and miss production with some real moments of uncertainty. I think that all three of those documentaries, Burden of Dreams, A Lost Soul, Island of Dr. Moreau, and Jodorowsky's Dune, are just terrific examples of this genre. I give this film my highest marks. I think it's just absolutely terrific. And it, of course, includes some deleted scenes, which sadly, interestingly enough, they didn't take the time to actually write English subtitles at the bottom, because there's many people that are being interviewed for this film that are either Spanish or French speakers, and I would have liked to have seen subtitles. I can, understand Spanish a bit, but French I haven't a clue. And it's just sad because I'm thinking the whole time watching some of these deleted scenes how I'd like to know what they were saying. So definitely wish that the DVD company that released this would have taken that extra effort to put subtitles on some of those cut scenes. But apart from that, again, I would just say this is one of the most fascinating stories about a movie that perhaps could have transcended all films prior to, and that was what Jodorowsky claimed he was trying to do, was literally make a movie that would change the world. And you believe him, because he's just got such a passion to him and a belief in his art that is certainly commendable, if perhaps a bit dubious when it comes to giving someone like that tons of money. So I understand why the Suits perhaps got skittish and decided to pull the plug. But man, if only he had brought this film to being, I think it might have been something that was on par with like 2001. So on that note, please do take care out there, everyone. Stay safe, be kind, and by all means keep watching good cinema.